Amanda Knox, who was jailed and then later acquitted for the 2007 murder of her roommate Meredith Kircher. She is with her husband Christopher Robinson to talk about their new Hulu documentary, Mouth of the Wolf. Amanda Knox returns to Italy. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Oh, good morning.
Thank you for having us.
So let's jump in, because I think a lot of people all over the world think that they know everything there is to know about your story, but there is so much more to it. And you're going to explore that in this documentary. You even travel back to Italy and you come face to face with the prosecutor who sent you to prison. After all these years, how did all of this feel for you?
Well, I think anybody who's gone through anything traumatic knows that there is a long grieving and processing after a grave injustice. And one thing that I think everyone now is coming to realization is that law enforcement does not take accountability for their wrongdoing very easily. And so what this story is my attempt to confront the harm that was directly caused to me, and to do so in a way that was humanizing and compassionate.
And this is all taking place in Italy. Christopher, you directed this from your perspective, which is also new.
Yeah, I wanted to show the human being that I had fallen in love with, this woman who is a mom and a writer and a singer, to me before she's all those things relating to Italy. And yet I realized that that long history of trauma is there as well. And it has ripple effects in the present day. I mean, she remains wrongly convicted of a lesser crime, and that's something that we tell the story of in this documentary. But also, I saw how terrifying it was for her to face the prospect of returning to Italy and going to meet face-to-face with the man who sent her to prison. And yet, she was so determined to do it. I saw that conflict, and I knew I had to film it. She was also doing this balancing act of trying to hold him to account while also reaching out an olive branch and acting with compassion. And I found that very inspiring.
It certainly is. And Amanda and Chris, you've received so much attention over this. The documentary illustrates the kind of attention you're still getting when you return to Italy. We actually have a clip. Let's take a look.
Neither they nor us were prepared for the media reactions upon our arrival.
Every single newspaper has Amanda's picture on it. Big, huge headlines with lots of exclamation points.
From the second we walked out that door, cameras in the face, and I can only imagine what that felt like. Now you're back in this place, and immediately you're back in it. It's unrelenting.
And Amanda, the attention didn't end when you were released from jail in 2011. It's still very current for you, as we saw there in that clip, even affecting where you can travel with your family. Just tell us a little bit about that. How has it been the last few years?
Well, I did not go to Italy to become a public figure, I'll tell you that. I was hoping to become a translator and live a quiet life, and that was stolen from me. And to this day, my case is ongoing. I'm still appealing to the European Court of Human Rights, and as a result, I still remain with a criminal record, meaning that anytime we travel, just recently, I was denied entry into Japan because of my criminal record. We have an au pair that helps us with our children at home, and to go through that process, I had to do a criminal background check. It's an ongoing problem in my life, this injustice that hasn't resolved itself legally. But even more than that, I think it's this internal conflict of trying to make sense of the harm that is caused by those who are charged with the authority. And it's really trying to hold their humanity in my mind while also holding them to account. And that's really hard to do.
It's really hard to do. One person we, of course, cannot forget through all of this is Meredith. Amanda, what do you want her family to know after all these years?
I would really love them to know that I am still grieving her death, and that what happened to her has had a lifelong consequence for me as well. Even if none of the bad things had ever happened to me, I would be traumatized by what she went through as her roommate. And I really hope that they will watch this documentary, and then they will appreciate that we are grieving together and we have a lot more in common than they may believe.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us to talk about this. I know it's hard to open up about all of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mouth of the Wolf, Amanda Knox Returns to Italy, and The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox are both now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.